This dumb bitch taking an iron to the bra to kill Michael Myers. That's just one of the many problems. It's subtle and it is funny. It's just unrealistic. Who the hell would do that? Actually gonna iron out his coveralls. Hey everyone, so today we're going to discuss the Halloween Kills good and bad moments. As Jamie Lee Curtis said in a post on her Facebook, she is just glad the movie didn't suck. Yeah, money's everything. This is just some of my pros and cons of the film. I've seen it already and already given my review, but this is just more of looking back at it again for a third or fourth time. My overall thoughts, if they've changed, and if I recognize anything different, what I previously didn't. But this sequel being much more divided than the 2018. The one where Karen says to her daughter about race, saying that even though we can't see him, he's still here. It was really corny, honestly, but at the end, Allison rephrases that line and says the same exact thing, really basically saying how even though we can't see him, that means he's not there. It really changes that from a positive to a negative really quickly, depending on who you're referring to. So I kind of liked it in a way. Got to think about it, and I was like, oh, okay. Now, as far as the dead bodies in the middle of the hospital, that made no sense to me. They should be in a morgue. I used to see Dr. Sartain, and his head is intact, like it was smashed to pieces like a pumpkin. Now it's all fine. I don't know. Maybe that's a continuity error. Some of the good is obviously some very great attention to detail in the flashback scenes. Amazing what they had accomplished there. It just makes me so irritated that they can get this part done so well. Mess up so much else in the film. It reminded me a lot of the Texas Chainsaw 3D film. Completely remodeled all the set of the Sawyer family's house. Unfortunately, it didn't last long in the film. Yeah, that's just a comparison of how good it was and flawless as far as the Myers house and everything. Looking back at it already, there's still some hate and some I actually really enjoyed. Like as far as the returning characters, statement in my first review that I just didn't like how they returned for nothing really. Like Nurse Chambers, she gets killed in the front of the car very quickly. So her part is very limited again, much like H2O, she gets killed first. But looking back again, her being in the position of passenger seat, that's obviously a callback to the 78 film. And I think it's only right that she dies there because that's where she ultimately would have gotten killed in the first film. It's a way of showing how history repeats itself and again speaks to the whole concept of fate while Laurie is looking out the window and Michael's sitting across the road in the station wagon. Even though I didn't appreciate how she died so soon again, but I respect it for how they went about it. Now, most of the positives are in the flashback scenes. Michael vanishes and where there's a dead end, where there's a fence, where it has nowhere to go. Hawkins comes in and sees that he just vanishes in midair, basically. It was really cool, and it was really paying homage to the original Halloween, where, you know, there's plenty of examples where Michael, when he's in front of Laurie's window, hiding behind the laundry sheets, and then she looks back and there's nothing there. And then there's, again, where Annie is in the laundry room, and Michael's standing through the door and it's gone. I even would have liked if they took it a bit further, where they attacked Michael. I would have liked if he just picked up his mask, glances back at them, and then the camera goes back to where Michael was standing, but then there's nothing there. And I would have liked to have seen that and we wouldn't have gotten the beatdown that we did. And honestly, I think it would have served better and really a better ending ultimately. The direction and shots, you know, every time Michael was on screen, it was great. But honestly, everything else outside of that, really, it falls flat. I mean, of course, there's the great score by John Carpenter, Cody Carpenter, and Daniel Davies. And as far as the 4 people in the car, that's a part of the mob. They only bring 2 pistols out of everything they've had. They don't go very smart about it. They're really stupid. Andy Medichek's character as Allison, she's really good. And she's one of the best characters in this movie. The scene where she's in the car with her boyfriend's dad and all, and they're talking about her dad, she starts laughing, but then quickly starts to cry, and you can see her turn up. But then she, as the car stops and they realize that someone else needs help, she quickly snaps out of it, and she's like, nope, not today. I got work to do. And that just speaks to how strong she is and not being caught up in the moment and letting her emotions get the best of her. Will Patton as Officer Hawkins was another standout. I honestly wish there was more material with him to work with. But what he was given, he was great, I thought. His exchange between Laurie. Even though it's a small role, it's very pivotal to the story overall. I just wish it was more relevant to the night. Jamie Lee Curtis was good, but again, wasn't given enough to work with, really. Hints at Halloween 1981 were basically being just in the hospital the whole time. Only she's more alert here. I'm glad she has given some screen time, at least. I would really have liked for her to have inspired the mob or something instead of Tommy, give her more of a purpose, and that way in Halloween Ends, it would reflect more on her and give her more guilt as to the murders. Her line that she says, "Let Michael take my head while I take his," that was a really bad line, but the tone overall is really inconsistent. There's very dark moments and then like unintentional comedic moments. Now, if you know me, you know that I appreciated the gay representation in Halloween Kills, but honestly that backfired. People claiming Michael to be homophobic, which is outrageous. That's an entirely different story. I'll also leave that in the link below and my rant on the issue. And also the gays calling each other Big and Little John while they're hunting Michael in their house kind of took me out of the moment. Like, wow, they could be calling each other pet names during this serious situation. Of course, I do really appreciate them trying something new and different with the penguin inmate. He even has an umbrella and everything, but they spent so much time on him trying to make us feel some empathy for him when they could be building some character development for others like Tommy or Lindsay. I really do like the line where Officer Hawkins says, "Michael is a 6-year-old boy with the strength of a man and the mind of an animal." That was really great. It's really psychological and speaks to how Michael was basically held in captivity since he was 6 in Smith's Grove and hasn't had any time free up until his escape. And I just really liked it. It stood out to me. In one of my fan films, The Night That Shaped Haddonfield, character Loomis, he says every Halloween is a repetition of that night. And also the line where Laurie says you can't kill Michael with brute force. I think she honestly realizes that there's something to do with the Myers house location. With Karen seeing little Michael in the window, it's just symbolism. That's where evil started, and it's really the foundation of evil. If that was just an artsy-fartsy shot, just to, you know, make it look, it'd be cool for nostalgia purposes, because I was really looking forward to that in the trailer. We see it, and I thought it'd be like another flashback. I thought it was cool nonetheless. I do like the kills in this movie. I just wish there was more character development to make us care about the kills. The kills were nice. I mean, being a horror fan, and it's not very Halloween-like, it's more like Friday the 13th as far as that goes. For what it is, I enjoy it. It was a decent sequel. That's my thoughts on Halloween Kills, so what did you think about it? Thank you for watching, and please subscribe.